What really happened to Vin Diesel at 58? You won't believe the shocking truth behind the rumors, the hidden drama, and the unexpected turns in the life of one of Hollywood's biggest action stars. From secret feuds and unexpected health scares to career struggles that no one saw coming. Today we're diving deep into the mystery surrounding Vin Diesel's life at 58, and trust me, this story is far from what the media has been showing you. Did he really lose control of his empire? What happened behind the scenes with his Fast and Furious family? Why are insiders suddenly revealing things that were supposed to stay hidden forever? This video will uncover the controversies, the emotional moments, and the powerful truths that show a side of Vin Diesel you've never seen before. But before we get into the full story, do me a quick favor, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It may seem like a small thing, but on YouTube, it makes all the difference. Your engagement tells YouTube that this content matters, that you want to see more real stories, more truth, and fewer filtered Hollywood lies. It helps the video reach more people who also deserve to know what's really going on. So if you love uncovering the stories that others won't tell, that's your way of saying, keep going. Now, let's go back to where it all started, to the rise of Vin Diesel, the man who built his name from nothing, who fought through rejections, and who became the unstoppable face of the Fast and Furious saga. But somewhere along the way, something changed. Friends turned into rivals, partnerships broke apart, and Vin's carefully built image began to crack. Was it the pressure of fame? Was it the endless on-set battles? Or is there something much deeper, something that no one expected to find? In this video, we'll reveal never-before-heard insights from those close to him, the rumors that almost destroyed his reputation, and the decisions that may have altered his career forever. Make sure you stay until the very end, because the final revelation will leave you completely speechless. And when it does, I want you to comment below and tell me what surprised you the most, what truth hit you hardest about Vin Diesel at 58. Get ready, because this isn't just another Hollywood story. This is a real-life twist that will make you question everything you thought you knew about Vin Diesel. Origins and identity. Vin Diesel, whose real name is Mark Sinclair, has one of those fascinating origin stories that seems almost written for a movie. Born on July 18, 1967, in Alameda County, California, and raised in the artistic neighborhood of Greenwich Village in New York City, his childhood was far from ordinary. His mother, Delora Shirlene Sinclair, was an astrologer of English, German, and Scottish descent, while his biological father remains a mystery, something that would deeply influence his sense of identity throughout his life. Vin has openly said that he never met his real father, and that his stepfather, Irving H. Vincent, was the man who truly raised him. Irving was a theater manager and acting instructor, and his guidance planted the seeds of creativity and performance in young Mark's mind. Growing up surrounded by actors, playwrights, and the New York theater scene, Vin found himself drawn to storytelling and performance from an early age, even if life in the village wasn't always easy. The family didn't have much, and Vin learned early the value of persistence and grit. At just 7 years old, he stumbled into acting in an unexpected way. He and a group of kids tried to break into a local theater to vandalize it, but instead of calling the police, the theater's artistic director offered them roles in a play. That twist of fate became his first taste of the stage, and from that day on, acting became a defining part of who he was. Yet, there was always another layer to his story, the question of identity. With light skin but racially ambiguous features, Diesel often struggled to fit neatly into the boxes that society tried to impose. Casting directors would question his ethnicity, and even as a kid, he learned that the world often wanted him to define himself in a way that didn't feel right. Later in life, he would describe himself as definitely a person of color, but one who refuses to be limited by labels. That sense of not belonging to one group or another became a powerful part of his character, fueling his desire to tell stories that transcend race and background. During his teenage years, he balanced a love for art with the need to survive. He worked as a bouncer in some of New York's roughest nightclubs, where he earned the nickname Diesel. Because of his unrelenting energy and intimidating presence, he was always running on full power, like a machine that never stopped. This nickname, combined with the shortened version of his stepfather's name, Vincent, became his stage name, Vin Diesel. At the same time, he attended Hunter College, studying creative writing, and it was there that he began to develop an interest in writing screenplays. But Hollywood wasn't kind to a young man who didn't fit the typical mold. Vin quickly realized that if he wanted to succeed, he would have to create his own opportunities. That realization pushed him to write, direct, and star in his own projected decision that would later define his entire career. But behind all the toughness and the muscle-bound image that the world would come to know, the heart of Vin Diesel's story lies in the quiet struggles of a young man trying to figure out who he was in a world that didn't have a clear place for him. His origins aren't just about where he came from, they're about resilience, self-definition, and the courage to build a name when no one was willing to give him one. 2. Career beginnings and breakthrough. Vin Diesel's career beginnings tell the story of a man who refused to give up, no matter how many doors closed in his face. After growing up in New York City, surrounded by theater and creativity, he had the fire to perform, but Hollywood didn't exactly welcome him with open arms. When Vin first moved to Los Angeles, he quickly learned that being passionate and talented wasn't enough. Casting directors didn't know where to place him. He was too ambiguous, they said, meaning his mixed ethnicity didn't fit the typical categories Hollywood used at the time. That constant rejection could have broken anyone's spirit, but not Vin's. Instead, he turned that frustration into motivation. Drawing from his college experience in creative writing, he decided to take control of his own narrative. With a few $1,000s in savings and a borrowed camera, he wrote, directed, produced, and starred in a short film called Multifacial in 1995. The 20-minute semi-autobiographical film told the story of a struggling multiracial actor who keeps being turned away from auditions because no one can figure out what he is. It was raw, real, and deeply personal, a direct reflection of Vin's own struggles. When Multifacial premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, it caught the attention of none other than Steven Spielberg. Impressed by Vin's honesty and potential, Spielberg cast him in a small but powerful role in Saving Private Ryan, 1998. That one opportunity changed everything. For the first time, Hollywood started to see Vin Diesel not as an outsider, but as someone with undeniable screen presence, a new kind of leading man who didn't fit the cookie-cutter mold. Still, his rise wasn't overnight. After Saving Private Ryan, he lent his voice to the beloved animated character the Iron Giant, 1999, showing a softer, emotional side that contrasted his tough exterior. But it was in 2000 that Vin's true breakthrough came with Pitch Black, where he played the anti-hero Richard B. Riddick, a dangerous convict with a mysterious moral code. Audiences loved his deep voice, physical intensity, and the way he made even villains feel human. That performance turned heads and built the foundation for his next major step, The Fast and the Furious, 2001. As Dominic Toretto, Vin became the face of a generation. His character's loyalty, strength, and love of family connected deeply with audiences all over the world. It wasn't just about cars and stunts. It was about brotherhood and resilience, values that mirrored Vin's real life. The movie became a massive hit, launching a global franchise that would define his career for decades. Not long after, he solidified his action star status with XXX, 2002, and later returned as Riddick in The Chronicles of Riddick, 2004, proving he could lead major blockbusters. Yet, even with fame, he never forgot how hard it had been to get there. That's why he founded his own production company, One Race Films, to create more opportunities for himself and others like him. He wanted control, independence, and the ability to tell stories that reflected the diversity he had always fought to represent. Vin Diesel's early career wasn't built on luck. It was built on sheer determination, creative courage, and a belief that if no one gave him a seat at the table, he'd build his own. From hustling in nightclubs to standing beside Spielberg, Vin's journey from rejection to superstardom is one of the most inspiring in Hollywood. It's proof that believing in yourself, even when no one else does, can turn your biggest obstacle into your greatest breakthrough. 3. Personal life and relationships. Behind the tough and fearless image that Vin Diesel built on screen, there's a surprisingly private, sensitive, and deeply loyal man when it comes to his personal life. Unlike many Hollywood stars who constantly appear in headlines and tabloids, Vin has always chosen to keep his relationships and family out of the public spotlight. He once said in an interview that he follows the example of old-school legends like Al Pacino, Marlon Brando, and Robert De Niro, actors who never used their personal lives as publicity. This philosophy of privacy became a cornerstone of who he is off-screen. Since around 2007, Vin Diesel has been in a long-term relationship with Mexican model Paloma Jimenez. Despite being together for nearly 2 decades, the two have never married publicly, a choice that has often raised curiosity and speculation. But Vin has been clear about his reasoning. He believes that when love is real, it doesn't need validation from the media or a wedding headline. Together, they've built a quiet but loving family life, raising 3 children. Their eldest daughter, Hania Riley, born in 2008, their son, Vincent, born in 2010, and their youngest daughter, Pauline, born in 2015. The name of his youngest child carries a story that touched millions of fans around the world. Pauline was named in honor of Vin's best friend and Fast and Furious co-star, Paul Walker, who tragically passed away in 2013. Vin has often spoken emotionally about how losing Paul was like losing a brother, and naming his daughter after him was a way to keep his memory alive. He's also the godfather of Paul Walker's daughter, Meadow Walker, and continues to maintain a close bond with her, often referring to her as family. This deep sense of loyalty and family-first attitude that fans see in his movies isn't just an act. It's truly who Vin Diesel is in real life. Fatherhood changed him profoundly. Before becoming a dad, he admitted that his focus was always on building his career, on proving himself to the world. But after his first daughter was born, everything shifted. He once said that the moment he held his daughter for the first time, he understood what real love and responsibility meant. Since then, he's become incredibly protective of his children, rarely sharing pictures or details about them, choosing instead to give them a normal life away from cameras and fame. In interviews, Vin has opened up about how being a father helped him grow emotionally. It taught him patience, empathy, and the importance of setting a positive example. He's also shared how Paloma has been his rock, the person who keeps him grounded despite the chaos of Hollywood. Even though rumors have occasionally surfaced about separations or challenges in their relationship, neither Vin nor Paloma has ever fed into gossip. They continue to appear united, focused on raising their children and maintaining their peace. Beyond his romantic and family life, Vin is known for being fiercely loyal to his close circle of friends. He values authenticity and trust, and that's why those who earn his friendship often describe him as someone deeply protective and emotionally genuine. Still, being private hasn't kept him away from controversy. There have been moments when fans and journalists have questioned his silence or mysterious nature, wondering if he's hiding behind his image. But Vin insists that protecting his family from the harshness of fame is not about secrecy, it's about respect. In a world where celebrity lives are constantly on display, he prefers to be known for his work, not his personal drama. That quiet strength, that devotion to love and loyalty, shows that behind the muscles and the movie star glow, there's a man who simply wants peace, stability, and genuine human connection. For Vin Diesel, family isn't just a movie theme. It's the foundation of his entire life. 4. Controversies and public revelations. Even though Vin Diesel is known around the world as a symbol of strength, loyalty, and family, his career hasn't been free from controversy or public scrutiny. Behind the calm and charismatic image he shows on screen, there have been moments that shook his reputation and made fans question what was really happening behind the scenes. One of the most talked about controversies in Vin Diesel's career came from his long and complicated relationship with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson during the Fast and Furious era. At first, their partnership seemed like a dream team, 2 massive action stars bringing even more energy to one of Hollywood's biggest franchises. But as the years went on, tensions began to surface. Around 2016, Johnson made a cryptic post on social media calling out unnamed male co-stars for being unprofessional and too chicken to confront problems face-to-face. Fans quickly speculated that he was talking about Diesel. Although Vin tried to downplay the feud, it became impossible to hide. In later interviews, he admitted that there were creative differences between them, describing their relationship as that of two alphas trying to lead the same pack. He claimed that as a producer, he sometimes used tough love to get the best out of Johnson, but many saw the comment as condescending. The public feud eventually led The Rock to step away from the main franchise, even though both later insisted there was mutual respect. Beyond that famous clash, Vin Diesel has faced other controversies that put his behavior under the microscope. In 2016, he was criticized for an uncomfortable interview with a Brazilian YouTuber, where he repeatedly complimented her looks and interrupted her questions with flirtatious comments. Many viewers felt his behavior was unprofessional, and the clip went viral for all the wrong reasons. Diesel later apologized, saying his intention was never to disrespect anyone, but the moment left a mark on his public image. Over the years, there have also been reports from anonymous sources and crew members claiming that Vin could sometimes be difficult to work with, arriving late on set, holding up production, or refusing to take direction. Some insiders described him as a perfectionist who wants complete control, while others saw him as someone whose ego grew along with his fame. However, several co-stars and longtime collaborators have defended him, saying that his passion and desire for authenticity often get mistaken for arrogance. Still, not all controversies were just about work. In 2023 and 2024, Vin Diesel faced one of the most serious accusations of his career when a former assistant, Asta Jonassen, filed a lawsuit alleging sexual battery dating back to 2010 during a film production. The case gained massive attention in the media, and while Vin strongly denied all allegations, calling them completely false, the story added a dark cloud to his later years in Hollywood. His legal team has continued to fight for the case's dismissal, but the public conversation around it has already affected how some people view him. Through it all, Diesel has kept his public responses measured, rarely addressing controversies in detail. He prefers to let time, rather than words, repair his reputation. Despite everything, many fans remain loyal, believing that the man who has always preached about family and loyalty deserves the benefit of the doubt. Even so, the controversies have reminded everyone that behind the movie hero stands a human being, complex, flawed, and sometimes caught between fame and personal reality. What makes Vin Diesel's story so interesting is that his controversies never completely overshadowed his success. Instead, they revealed that even Hollywood's strongest figures have cracks. And perhaps that's what makes him so relatable. The fact that his journey, with all its triumphs and mistakes, feels unmistakably human. 5. That what happened at age 58 and around that time. When Vin Diesel reached the age of 58, fans all around the world started to wonder what was really happening behind the scenes of his life. After all, he had spent more than 2 decades being the face of one of the most successful movie franchises in history. And yet, around this time, a new phase seemed to begin, one that revealed a more vulnerable, reflective, and at times controversial side of him. Turning 58 wasn't just another birthday for Vin Diesel. It symbolized a major turning point, both personally and professionally. The man who once defined himself by speed, power, and control was now confronting the slower, more introspective realities that come with age, fame, and legacy. Physically, he was still strong and imposing, but fans began to notice a softer presence. A man who was finally acknowledging time, fatherhood, and the pressure of maintaining his public image. He was no longer the young rebel of Pitch Black or the unstoppable racer from Fast and Furious. He had become a father of 3, a mentor, and an icon facing the weight of his own legend. Around this age, Vin's focus shifted more toward legacy projects and producing rather than chasing nonstop action roles. His company, One Race Films, began developing new content that reflected themes of loyalty, identity, and redemption, the same ideals that had carried him through his career. But the public spotlight was not always kind. The legal challenges that emerged in 2023 and 2024, involving accusations of sexual misconduct from a former assistant, cast a long shadow over his image. Although Diesel and his team strongly denied the allegations, the controversy affected the way audiences perceived him. Many wondered if the quiet, private star was finally being forced to face the darker sides of fame. At 58, instead of being only celebrated for his accomplishments, he found himself defending his name and reputation. A heavy burden for someone who had spent his whole life trying to be seen as loyal and righteous. Beyond the headlines, however, those who followed Vin closely noticed that he had become more introspective in interviews. He spoke more openly about mortality, family, and the emotional impact of losing his friend Paul Walker years earlier, a loss that still seemed to shape everything he did. He often mentioned how Walker's death changed his understanding of life and time, making him more protective of the people he loved. Now, in his late 50s, that reflection seems stronger than ever. He talked about wanting to be remembered not just as an action star, but as someone who cared about values, unity, and legacy. Physically, he continued to train and stay in shape, but he also embraced a more balanced lifestyle. He appeared at events with his partner, Paloma Jimenez, and spoke about finding peace in being a father. The once relentless Hollywood figure now seemed to cherish quiet moments with his children, far from the spotlight. At 58, it was as if Vin Diesel had entered the legacy era of his life, where his biggest battles are no longer fought on screen, but within himself. He was looking back on decades of fame, success, and mistakes, trying to define what would come next. The strength that once came from muscle and adrenaline was now being replaced by emotional resilience and self-awareness. Of course, fans also noticed changes in his public behavior. Less social media noise, fewer interviews, and a calmer, more guarded tone. He seemed tired of the constant scrutiny that came with being a global superstar. Still, even with the controversies and the natural slowing down that comes with age, Vin remained determined to show the world that he was still here, still strong, and still driven by the same fire that got him started decades ago. At 58, Vin Diesel wasn't just an actor. He had become a symbol of perseverance, a man redefining what it means to age in Hollywood without losing yourself. His story at this stage is about survival, redemption, and the ongoing battle to stay true to who you are when the world keeps trying to rewrite your script. 6. How he is today and outlook. Today, Vin Diesel stands as one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood, a global icon whose career spans over 3 decades and whose influence extends far beyond the movie screen. At 58, he has transitioned from a young, relentless action hero of the Fast and the Furious to a seasoned actor, producer, and businessman who carefully curates both his professional and personal life. Professionally, Diesel continues to headline blockbuster films, but his focus has shifted toward legacy and long-term creative control. Through his production company, One Race Films, he has been able to create opportunities not just for himself, but for other actors and filmmakers who may face the same challenges he did at the start of his career. This move into production reflects a broader shift in his outlook. Vin is no longer just chasing fame. He is building a lasting impact in the film industry, shaping projects that reflect themes of family, loyalty, and identity ideas that have always been central to his personal philosophy. Despite the controversies that have marked his late career, including publicized legal challenges, Diesel maintains a strong public image, demonstrating resilience and an ability to manage crises without allowing them to define him entirely. Fans continue to admire his commitment to his work, his willingness to evolve, and the way he balances his personal values with his professional responsibilities. On a personal level, Vin Diesel remains deeply devoted to his family. His long-term partner, Paloma Jimenez, and their 3 children provide a stable, private foundation that keeps him grounded amidst the chaos of Hollywood. The loss of his close friend Paul Walker continues to shape his perspective, reinforcing his dedication to family, both his own and the extended family of the Fast and Furious franchise. This commitment is evident not only in the choices he makes on screen, but also in how he navigates the pressures of public life off-screen. Physically, Diesel continues to maintain the fitness and presence that made him a legend in action cinema, but he has adapted his routines to accommodate the realities of aging while still delivering the performance audiences expect. At 58, he is aware that his era of relentless stunts and adrenaline may not last forever, which has influenced him to diversify his roles and explore projects that challenge him in new ways. Looking forward, Vin Diesel's outlook is a blend of reflection and ambition. He seems determined to solidify his legacy, not only as a performer, but as a storyteller and mentor who uses his platform responsibly. He appears to be embracing a more strategic approach to fame, choosing projects that align with his personal values, while also preparing for a future where he can continue to influence the entertainment industry behind the camera. His story today is about balance between public and private life, between action and reflection, between legacy and reinvention. While the spotlight will always follow him, Vin Diesel demonstrates that it is possible to grow, adapt, and remain relevant even decades after first breaking onto the scene. He has evolved into a man who not only commands screens worldwide, but also inspires with his resilience, loyalty, and commitment to staying true to himself. In essence, Vin Diesel at this stage of life embodies the rare combination of enduring stardom, personal integrity, and forward-looking vision, showing the world that a career built on passion and perseverance can continue to thrive while leaving a meaningful legacy. If you've been captivated by Vin Diesel's journey from his challenging beginnings to becoming a global icon, navigating controversies, building a family, and redefining his legacy at 58, don't just watch and scroll. Hit that subscribe button to stay updated with more deep dives into the lives of the biggest stars. Because subscribing tells YouTube that this content matters and helps us reach more fans who love uncovering the real stories behind the headlines. Give this video a like if you found Vin's story inspiring or surprising. And make sure to comment below. I want to know what part of his journey shocked or inspired you the most. Did his personal life, his controversies, or his dedication to family resonate with you? Finally, watch until the very end, because the last revelation about Vin Diesel at 58 is something that will leave you completely speechless. You won't want to miss it.